So I think good number of people have joined. So I shall start the class, today's class on synthetic seeds. So let us first discuss what are the synthetic seeds or artificial seeds. These are also called artificial seeds. Sometimes people refer to as syn seeds. So these are just nothing but propagule encapsulated in a particular hydrogel or some other type of gels to form the structures that resemble like a seed. In order to understand what are the synthetic seeds, first let us see what the seed is. So seed is a small embryonic plant. So it is a plant, embryonic plant, enclosed in a coverings called seed coats. Generally these coverings are called testa or integument, and it has a stored food either in the embryo itself or in a very specialized structure which is referred to as endosperm. So that's what we call it as a seed. You might have seen the seeds of many plants, crops, these all cereals, wheat, rice, sorghum, ragi, bajra. Those all seeds you might have seen. You are eating flour or chapati or roti out of that. These seeds contain starch in their endosperm as a reserved food for this reserved food is stored for the growing embryo. When seed germinates, embryos utilize this food and grows until seedling becomes photoautotropic or is capable of photosynthesizing to provide the food and nutrition to the growing embryo. So it is a product of sexual reproduction. Seeds are produced by the sexual reproduction. We have discussed this thing during the process of somatic embryogenesis when I was telling you the difference between somatic embryo and zygotic embryo. It provides protection to growing embryo at a vulnerable stage. So seed is providing kind of protection to the growing embryo at the embryonic stages. Stores adequate food for embryo until the photosynthesis begin. Maintains dormancy to overcome the unfavorable environmental condition. Generally, seeds of many plants are dormant at the time of maturity. When seed mature, these are dormant because these seeds mostly, if we look at the process of reproduction in itself, whenever an organism is under some kind of stress, the reproduction organism tend to reproduce and produce the offsprings for the future perpetuation of the generation. So plants has adopted this thing. Generally seeds it has become a kind of adaptation to produce the seeds under unfavorable condition, and the seeds at that time are dormant. These seeds do not germinate. If the seeds germinate during unfavorable condition, seedlings will die. So this is only a kind of mechanism for the survival of the organism. Okay, so the seeds at the time of maturity, they are dormant. Okay, so embryo maintains the dormancy for some time and seed germinates on return of the favorable condition or the growing condition for the plant. It helps also in the dispersal of the plants from one place to another place. So these are the normal traditional seeds. And if you look at these seeds, generally I would like to go further a little bit here. The seeds are of two types. One are called orthodox seed. Orthodox seeds are those which are having very less quantity of water or are desiccated at the time of maturity. The seeds, most of the seeds we were naming they are the orthodox seed. All cereal, pulses, these are all orthodox seeds. But there are certain seeds which has enough water at the time of maturity. There are. If I don't know if you people have noticed or not, there are a lot of plants growing along the road that is going beside the girls hostel, a group of girls hostel, and reaching to the that E block and F block. If you look at the side of that road, there are a lot of Ashoka tree plants, and this Ashoka tree produces a seed that is having enough water when it is mature. Okay, such seed, when they fall on the ground, they lose the water and also lose the viability very fast. As they lose the water, little bit of water, they also lose the viable. They become non-viable. These are called recalcitrant seeds. Orthodox seeds are shed with a water content which is very, very low, and these seeds have a viability which is a very, very long. So sometimes these seeds can also be viable for not years but also decades and centuries. So that is the story of the seeds. Now, what are the synthetic seeds? Synthetic seeds are produced by artificial encapsulation of propagules. Now, what propagule can be encapsulated in these entrapments or matrix? This can be somatic embryo, as in case of normal seed, there is the embryo. Here we encapsulate the somatic embryo. Or people have been encapsulating shoot buds or even the cell aggregates. These entrapments or these matrices could be hydrated, such as hydrogel, or could be dehydrated. The synthetic seeds are also two types: hydrated synthetic seed, as in case of hydrogel, which are produced in most of the cases, and these are also produced as dehydrated, very special kind of gels. These are produced only in few cases where embryo can be desiccated. These seeds, synthetic seeds, are also called artificial seeds. So artificial seeds were first term was introduced in 1977 by T. Murashige as a novel analog to the plant conventional seeds. So T. Murashige, if you can rightly remember the person who gave the MS media, Murashige and Skoog, it's the same Murashige. So T. Murashige proposed the concept of artificial seeds in 1977 to produce the seed by encapsulation of the somatic embryos. The production of artificial seeds is important as it produces seed counterpart of tissue cultured propagules. Generally, seeds are produced by the process of sexual reproduction. Though most of the time seeds are not exactly same genetic makeup as that of the mother plant, because of genetic recombination taking place at the time of meiosis. But these synthetic seeds are produced by encapsulation of the somatic embryos, which are vegetative propagules, okay. So they are the seed counterparts of tissue culture propagules, plant tissue culture propagules. So they derive the advantage of traditional seeds with the advantage of in vitro propagated vegetative propagation. So it is a kind of dual benefit situation. It is also helpful for the plant which do not produce viable seed. So we can produce the synthetic seeds for the plants which do otherwise do not produce seeds. There are good number of plants which do not produce the seeds. So we can produce the synthetic seeds for them. As these seeds are small in size and thus has advantage in storage, these seeds can be very conveniently stored. Sometimes even at normal room temperature in a sealed, aseptically sealed vessel. So handling and shipping to the distance places are very easy and convenient. The seeds can be sealed aseptically in the vessels and then can be shipped to the distance places or anywhere across the globe. The plant regenerated or recovered from the artificial seeds are called emblings. So as in case of normal seeds, we call them as seedlings. Here we call them as embling. So these are the some of the applications of the synthetic benefits of the synthetic seed technologies or artificial seeds technology. We can just hello students, hello.
Yes, sir.
बच्चे, have you seen the synthetic seeds ever? Hello?
No, sir.
नहीं देखे? अभी दिख रहे हैं? Now you are seeing or not?
So in the background.
Yes, this watermark is a picture of the synthetic seeds which were produced here at Taifakor by one of the PhD scholar. Okay, so these are all synthetic seeds in the background. Just in the morning I was looking that there is no synthetic seed. I have not put up a one picture, so I thought of just making you aware that there is a picture of synthetic seed in the as a watermark as slide background. Okay, so synthetic seeds can be produced for the hybrid seed plant. Generally what happens in case of hybrid seeds, F1 hybrid seeds, the offsprings produced are not of true to type. The seeds produced from the hybrid F1 hybrid plants cannot be used as seed. So you have to always go for the production of the new lot of seeds, and the companies, they retain that particular material for the seed production, and they do not provide it to the farmers or the growers. Sometimes they sell it at a very high cost. So in that case, if we have one hybrid seed, we can establish the culture of that, produce large number of somatic embryos, encapsulate them, and produce the synthetic seed out of that. So we can avoid these purchase from the companies by producing large number of synthetic seeds. So this is applicable in case of hybrid F1 hybrid seed technology. And moreover, in the previous slide I was telling you that this technology is useful for the production of seeds from the plants which are not known to produce the seeds. And I did not deliberately give any example there. Have you seen the seedless papaya, students? Seedless papaya, seedless guava, seedless grapes.
Yes, sir.
These are all plants which are having odd level of ploidy. Okay, maybe triploid, pentaploid, or heptaploid, or something like that. Okay, so these are produced by the process of hybridization. So such hybrids do not produce seed. So this artificial seed technology can also help producing seeds from such plants. Okay, that synthetic seeds. Then genetically modified plant. We can also produce seeds of genetically modified plants. The plants which are modified genetically, GMOs, we call them as GMOs. You might have heard a lot about the GMOs. Can you name one GMO?
BT brinjal.
BT brinjal, BT cotton, BT. There's a range of BT plants which are released across the world. Although in India the list is very short, but In some countries, this list is really very long. So we can produce synthetic seeds from elite genotype. Do you know what is the difference between a elite genotype and a variety? Again, other day I have given you example, the difference between a variety and a clone. Okay, so there's a difference between a elite genotype. Elite genotype can be a variety. Variety, generally we don't call it as a elite genotype. It can be elite. Variety can be, say, it's a high yielding, it's a better variety, it's a good variety. We don't call them elite. Elite, we use the word when we have some population of a plant growing in the field, which are produced through the seeds of plant, and the plant is heterozygous in nature. So seedlings are different. Seedlings are genetically different. There's a lot of variation among the seedlings, right? So from this lot of variant seedling, if we select one seedling which is a better quality, which is extremely good, so that seedling we call it as elite seedling. Okay, so what we can do with the elite seedling, we can propagate it vegetatively to produce the plants which are exactly like that of mother plant. That means we can clone it. We can clone it. Okay, but we cannot produce the elite plant through the sexual reproduction because of the segregation, recombination and segregation of characters. So therefore, we keep on identifying the elite plants in case of perennials, that forest trees and others in the field. So we can produce the synthetic seeds which are vegetative propagules from the elite plants for their propagation. Then species that do not produce seed, I have already discussed with you at length. Species with difficulty in seed production, it's the same thing. Some species, they do not flower in a particular area. Just this is not the exact example, but the example to make you aware, make you people aware about the concept. Have you seen sugarcane plant? Students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Potato?
Yes.
Have you seen the seeds of both, any of those?
No.
Why? If it is an angiosperm, it should produce seed, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
But it is not producing. Why it is not producing? Have you ever thought of it? No. Yes, someone want to say something?
Because it propagates vegetatively.
No, it propagates vegetatively, that's right, Bide. But if it propagates vegetatively, it will not produce that a seed, that is not right. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, by definition, we call angiosperm, these are as a seed producing plants, isn't it? Their name is derived from so, right? These
Yes,
also
sir.
produce, both of these plants produce seed, but they produce in a very specialized environment. In India, this potato is known to produce seed only in Kufri. Have you heard of Kufri?
Yes, sir.
Where it is? Where it is? Anyone?
Sir, in Himachal
In
Pradesh.
Himachal.
In Himachal, near Shimla. It is just few kilometers ahead on the Narkanda Road, Indo-Tibet Highway, Shimla. Okay. So that is the environment which is required, day length, other environmental factor for the flowering and fruit production of potato. Okay. So potato only produces fruit there. That is why Government of India has established Central Potato Research Institute there only. Okay. And same is sugarcane. Sugarcane flower somewhere in Kerala. So its institute is there, Sugarcane Research Institute. Karnataka or Kerala, I'm not remembering the exact place. Okay. So the plants which do not produce seeds normally, or have a production of a problem in producing seeds in a particular environment, so can also we can use for the production of seeds. And some of the benefits of synthetic seed: production of pathogen free plants. This is a big benefit. Production of pathogen free plant. We can produce the plants which are pathogen free. Here I mean, because this all technology is based on the in vitro propagation, tissue culture, so there is no scope of any fungal or bacterial pathogen, isn't it? Or is there any scope? Yes, students, what is the chance of plant getting infected with the pathogen under in vitro condition? Yes, anyone? But these are aseptic condition. Generally the pathogens are not there. This fungus and bacterial pathogen cannot be there. Those pathogen cannot enter into that system. If it enters, get contaminated and cultures are discarded itself. Okay. So only possibility of having the pathogen there in the tissue culture is that of viruses. And problem with the vegetative propagation plant is also that of viruses. But if we establish the culture from the virus free plants, then the viruses also cannot enter in vitro under in vitro condition. So the all propagule produced under in vitro condition are pathogen free. So we can get large number of pathogen free propagules. That is first benefit of this. Second benefit is low cost. See students, in the beginning it was there was a notion that tissue culture propagules are very, very expensive. If the tissue culture propagules are very expensive, then what is the need of doing tissue culture? Not just for the sake of faster propagation, it has to be cost effective also. So now with the advancements in the technology, in vitro propagated protocols are sometimes cheaper than the traditional nursery produced propagules. Their production is cheaper. We can produce at Thapar plants of eucalyptus by tissue culture with the economic benefit and sell it at a cost of 8 to 10 rupee a plant. And the same vegetatively propagated through cutting plant in the market are sold at a cost of 20 to 25 rupee a plant. So you can then now imagine which one is cheaper. It is the tissue culture. So we can produce it at a cheaper cost, and then genetically uniform material. We can, as it is a method of vegetative propagation, then the offspring produced are genetically uniform. Under worst condition, where chances of getting soma clonal variants are also there, the chances are much less than 1%. Okay, so it's a good material which is genetically uniform. Faster production. We can produce these seeds at a very, very faster rate. We can have one flask, we can produce thousands of somatic embryo, encapsulate them to produce thousands of seeds. Although it is yet difficult, but there are certain indications of success that these synthetic seeds can be transferred to field like the traditional conventional seeds. So we can directly plant them in the field. So that is a big advantage of synthetic seeds. Then germplasm storage. These can be stored at a temperature where these can be kept for years. So help in the germplasm storage. Now I haven't taught you yet. Yes. So please remind me the day I will be taking with you germplasm conservation. I will again discuss this germplasm storage by synthetic seeds. Okay, it's a method of medium term storage, in vitro storage. Okay, then again there's a repetition of genetic uniformity, so I will not take up this. So the next slide, what the synthetic seeds are generally. Synthetic seeds are the propagule. This is a propagule which is encapsulated in the gels. This can be hydrogel also. The most commonly used hydrogel is alginate, sodium alginate. I'll discuss why and how. And then, because in a traditional seed, there are plant growth regulator for triggering the growth of the propagule. Growth regulator. There is a nutrient to cater to the requirement of growing embryo. Okay. There are sometimes some antibacterial, antifungal. A seed has a capacity to fight the microorganisms, contaminating microorganisms that can be fungal or bacterial, and so we can incorporate all these things in the hydrogel, as it has been shown here. That's in hydrogel, they have incorporated some nutrients. This blue color, yellow color growth regulators, and then this pentagon with the brown color are antifungal agent, and then all these things. This is a vegetative propagule. This can be embryo, this can be shoot bud, or this can be cell clump of cells. They are all put together, are encapsulated in a gel, and we form a seed-like structure called synthetic seed. And these are there. These synthetic seeds are there. You can see in the picture actual synthetic seeds. Many are visible. Now, what are types of synthetic seeds? Synthetic seeds are of two types. Hydrated synthetic seeds. Hydrated synthetic seeds are produced by encapsulating the propagules in hydrogels like sodium alginate, potassium alginate, etc. It can also be some other gel, hydrated gels. So that's hydrated. And then we have a desiccated synthetic seed. What is a desiccation? I have just discussed with you in the lecture on somatic embryogenesis. When the embryo loses water to get mature, we call this process as desiccation. That losing of water. That is, generally the tissue have 60 to 70% water. The embryo sometimes have 5 to 10% water. This reduction of water is called the process of desiccation, and some embryos there. So the desiccated synthetic seeds are produced by polyoxyethylene glycol encapsulated somatic embryos, which are desiccated somatic embryos. This type of synthetic seeds are produced in desiccation tolerant species only. All species are not desiccation tolerant. Only few species are, not few, many species are desiccation tolerant, and these species we can produce desiccated seeds, and these desiccated seeds can be encapsulated in such gels such as polyoxyethylene glycol, and encapsulate them, and it becomes a desiccated synthetic seeds or dehydrated synthetic seeds, also we call. Requirements for the production of the synthetic seed, or where we can produce the synthetic seeds. Efficient, first is the efficient micropropagation protocol. We should have a very efficient, where we can produce large number of propagules which are to be encapsulated, be it a somatic embryo, be it a shoot bud, be it a cell clump, cell clusters. So we should be able to cell cluster which can produce the plant, not the simple cell clusters, which can callus. You're not taking cells from the ordinary callus and encapsulating them, that will be of no use. Okay, so we should have a protocol for producing these material at a very large scale. Then low cost, large scale, synchronous production of high quality propagation. Then this propagation should be low cost. Then other is synchronous. Synchronous mean a crop of material which is at the same stage of growth and development. If these are mature embryo, all are mature embryo, not like that. From 200 embryo or 2 lakh embryo, 20,000 is mature, 1 lakh in the middle stages of development and 1 lakh in the induction stage. No, not it like that. So if it is a 2 lakh embryo, out of 2 lakh, 1 lakh 80,000, 1 lakh 90,000 is at only one stage, which can be used to produce the synthetic seeds like that. Then encapsulation, there should be we should have optimized the encapsulation protocol. We should know that we are going to produce either hydrated synthetic seed or desiccated synthetic seed, and then that process of seed production has to be standardized. Then commercialization of, then we need how to commercialize this synthetic seed, how these can be made available to the growers, how growers are made aware how to grow these seeds, how to propagate plants from these seeds at a very high efficiency. That are all the requirements for the production and success of the synthetic seed technology. Now, procedure for the production of the synthetic seeds. First is dropping. Somatic embryos are dipped in hydrogel. Generally, how we produce the hydrogel? I told you, let us take the example of let's take the example of sodium alginate. So I just share and just explain it to you. Share the screen. So how we produce the, so we take a beaker, in the beaker we mix the sodium alginate generally 2 to 3% weight by volume. So this can be with the water, in water or medium, and we mix all sort of material in this, all sort of material. जो आपको मैंने synthetic seed में, I told you in the synthetic seed that this may contain nutrient, antimicrobials, or what was else there? One thing more. Growth regulators. Growth regulators. So these are the things can be added there, and then we boil this material and autoclave. It forms a gel. So this forms a liquid gel. This forms a liquid gel-like structure. Liquid gel after autoclaving. Now what we do? We put there embryos. Just let me see if I can get the different color. Yes. So we can just put them propagules. These are the propagules are dipped in this. So now what is being done? We take all this in pipette. So this in pipette, everything is there. These propagules are also there, like that, and we drop these in a solution of calcium chloride. So calcium chloride solution, we drop these one by one. When these are dropped, they get encapsulated, material gets encapsulated in them, and moment this drop falls there, it get polymerized due to the presence of in the presence of calcium chloride, due to the polymerization action of calcium chloride. That's what happens, and these ultimately they get encapsulated, so like that after some time. So, and it contains everything else what we have added here. So this is how we get the synthetic seeds. Mhm. So somatic embryos are dipped in hydrogels. So we put the embryos or any propagules in the hydrogel. This step encapsulates somatic embryos. Hydrogels used may be any of the following: sodium alginate, potassium alginate, or anything. The sodium alginate solution is used from the concentration from 1 to 5% in MS media or some other nutrient solution. Propagules are mixed with the emulsion. These are then dropped into the complexion solution. So complexion solution is mostly calcium chloride. I told you this is wrongly written here. So it's calcium chloride. On a magnetic stirrer, and it is kept, the beads are dropped in the complexion solution and is kept there for 20 to 30 minutes for getting stabilized and hardened. So if you keep it more, it will become harder. The propagules get entrapped by calcium alginate, which is stable polymer, and become harder. Then synthetic seeds are wiped with distilled water, washed with distilled water or MS medium, and these seeds are ready for the purpose whatsoever we want to do, we can do with these seeds. So this can be helped in the conservation, long-term or short-term conservation. So in the short-term conservation, we can use minimal growth media, reduced light, cold storage. We can store in the cold at a reduced temperature under reduced oxygen condition, and growth retardant. This slide I will again take up with you in germplasm conservation, and it has a greater role there also, but this is also applicable in the case of synthetic seeds. So these synthetic seeds can be for long-term conservation. We require dehydration and vitrification, and then after dehydration and vitrification, these can be put into the liquid nitrogen for the storage for indefinite period of time. That is so long as they are in the liquid nitrogen, but we call it as a cryopreservation. So this is again a production of synthetic seeds. Efficient in vitro propagation protocol, fully developed propagule. We require either shoot or embryos which has a synchronous development. Then we standardize this encapsulation protocol. That means what concentration of sodium alginate you will use, what concentration of calcium chloride you will use, how long you will keep the beads in calcium chloride solution, at which temperature. These all things are to be standardized. Okay. So then we also standardize the artificial endosperm. So you just think of this synthetic seed. What is this? Is a gel, and all these things are called, which are added in addition to the propagule, are called artificial endosperm. We need to optimize all these conditions. At what concentration we need to add what is the concentration of nutrient, which nutrient, what growth regulator, at which concentration, and how much is the amount of antibacterial or antifungal compounds are to be added in the synthetic seed. All these are to be then standardized. We standardize the artificial endosperm and then go for the mass production of the synthetic seed like that. We just drop this there and keep it there for 20 to 30 minutes. They will become harder beads and they are stored there, and this can be used for the germination. So endosperm for the synthetic seed. Somatic embryo lacks seed coat. So seed coat is not there. It's only the polymerized wall of the hydrogel that acts as a seed coat, and endosperm that provide protection and nutrition. So neither there is a protection nor there is a nutrition. So nutrition needs to be added, and we add synthetic endosperm as a nutrition. To augment these deficiencies, the encapsulation material is amended with nutrient and growth regulator. This is referred to as artificial endosperm. These additions result in increased viability and efficiency of conversion to plantlets of that of synthetic seeds. So that improves the efficiency for the conversion of these synthetic seeds and storage time, and also recovery after storage. So it's better after the addition of these seed, and all these parameters are worked out with respect to these conditions. These synthetic seeds can be stored for a longer period. However, the storage condition vary with the plant to plant. Thus, the synthetic seeds can be stored for the long period if they are sealed in a vessel under aseptic condition, but storage condition, that means temperature and light, varies with the plant to plant. Say our experience is, if we want to store the seeds of one plant, it may require 4 degrees Celsius, and other plant may be surviving better at 25 degrees Celsius. So it varies from plant to plant, the storage. Then comes the uses of synthetic seed. Reduced cost of establishment in the soil. We can directly transfer them into the greenhouse. Elites genotype can be propagated. Large scale monoculture can be produced. Monoculture is called same genetic material to be cultured. Carrier or adjuvant such as microorganism can also be added. Useful microorganism pesticide in the synthetic seed as a carriers for the benefit of the plant can be conceivably handled as seed using conventional planting material equipments. And conservation of germplasm, we have discussed, this can be used for the conservation of germplasm. So that is all for the moment. Any question you have, students? Any question? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'm just running out of time, so I close this meeting and I end it. Okay, thank you very much.